let's work through a few more examples of finding the X and Y intercepts. So to find the X-intercept, I let Y equal 0, and to find the Y-intercept, I let X equal 0. So let's let Y equal 0. I have negative X plus 0 is 6. That means negative X is 6, which means X is negative 6. So when X is negative 6, Y is 0. Let's find our Y-intercept. So that's when I let X equal 0. So I have negative 0 plus Y is 6. So I just have Y is 6. So I have when X is 0, Y is 6 as my Y-intercept. And you can go ahead and graph our line because we found 2 points on it. So every single point on this line, if we substitute it in, would satisfy this equation and make a true statement. You can kind of see that right here, right? If I have this point on my line, which is when X is negative 3 and Y is 3, if I substitute that in, I have negative 3 plus 3 equals 6. 6 is 6. Good job, team. The next two examples I'd really like you to sit for a moment and think about deeply. So, I have when X equals 4. Now, remember the standard form of an equation is ax plus by equals c, as long as both a and b don't equal 0, but one of them could be. So to find the x-intercept, I let y equal 0. Cool. So I don't have a y, so I just get x equals 4. So I have when x is 0, y is 4. Well, let's think about finding the y-intercept. To find the y-intercept, I let x equal 0. But if I substitute in 0, I get 0 equals 4, which is not a true statement. The line x equals 4 does not have, this stands for does not exist if I haven't done that already, does not have a y-intercept. Why? Well, the solution set to this would be every single point where x is 4. So where is x 4? Where x would be 4 down here, the point when x is negative 6, when x is 4, y is negative 6. X is 4 up here, even though y is 5, right? Every single point around this line is where x equals 4. So if I've got x equals a constant, its graph is going to be a vertical line, and it has no y-intercept. Let's look at the graph of y equals negative 6. And we're going to do the same thing. So to find the x-intercept, I let y equal 0. But wait, I get 0 equals negative 6. That means there's no x-intercept. So that means my line never crosses the x-axis if there's no x-intercept. But I know it's going to have a y-intercept, so I find the y-intercept by letting x equals 0. Well, luckily for us, there is no x. We get y equals 6. So when x is 0, y is negative 6. So let's think about where y is negative 6, because every single point, regardless of its x value, we don't care about our x's, haha, where y is negative 6 is going to be part of the solution. Well, y is negative 6 over here, and over here, and over here, right? All of these points on this horizontal line are where y equals negative 6. So whenever I have y equal a constant, my graph is going to look like a horizontal line. So if I wanted to know the exact midpoint between any 2 points on my coordinate plane, we would want to use the midpoint formula. So the midpoint M, notice that's a capital M, of a line segment PQ with endpoints x1, y1, and x2, y2 is found using the midpoint formula. So here's the midpoint formula, and here's an example. So what you do to find the exact middle, and this should kind of gut instinct make a little sense, is I add my x values, divide them in half, so I find the midpoint between my two x's, and I add my y values, and I divide it in half. And here's a worked out example for you to take a look at. So let's label our points. I've got x1, y1, x2, y2, and note that it doesn't matter which points I label my x1, y1, and x1, y2, as long as they have the same subscript of 1 or 2. So to find this midpoint, I'm going to add my x's, so I got 3 plus 6 over 2, comma, because remember this midpoint is an ordered pair, negative 6 plus 3 over 2. That gives me 9 halves, comma, negative 3 halves. And I'm going to leave them as a fraction because that's what I prefer to do. But I know in this example they were converted to a decimal. So let's go ahead and solve another problem using the midpoint formula. I'm going to go ahead and add my x's and add my y's. So I have negative 8 plus a negative 2 over 2, comma, y plus y2 over 2. That gives me negative 10 over 2, comma, negative 2 over 2. So I would get the point when x is negative 5, y is negative 1. And be sure to parentheses around it so I know it's an ordered pair.